Hello everyone, I'm Fahima. Today my group members and I are going to present on the compounds present in the Drive Energy drink and their functions in the body. I would like to begin with a little bit of a background of the Drive Energy drink. Drive Energy drink is a flavored and non-carbonated energy drink, and it is manufactured in Malaysia. We got a set of data where 44 compounds are listed. These compounds were found using mass spectrometry. We did our research on these listed compounds. However, we could not find the function for all 44 compounds. As a result, we are focusing on the function of the compounds retrieved from the journal articles. In this slide, here is a representation of a table containing compound name, compound number, formula, structure, function of the compound, including the references. At first is compound number 8 named L-galactose. Its formula is C6H12O6, followed by the structure as shown in the figure. And its function is the breakdown or metabolism of this compound is the key source of delivery of energy in the human body. Next is compound number 13 named taurine, and its formula is C2H7NO3S. The structure as shown in the table, and its function is it aids in neuromodulation and cellular membrane stability. It also helps in reducing the buildup of lactic acid after exercise. Now it is compound number 14, and the name of the compound is D-positive cellobiose. The formula is C12H22O11 and the structure is shown in the table. The function of this compound is it can be used as a substitution of sucrose in beverages. Another function is it acts as an energy reduced bulking agent, that is, it produces half of the energy as glucose. It is likely to form prebiotic, that is, the growth of important microorganisms such as bacteria, which influences the intestinal microbiota activity. Now I'd like to pass the rest of the presentation to Wan Yi. Thank you.
Alright, thank you, Fahima. So we now move on to compound 17 and compound 18. So compound 17 is known as E2-methyl-glutaconic acid, and compound 18 is known as 3-hydroxyl-methyl-glutaric acid, or MEGGLUTAR, or you can also call them dichlorothallic acid. So both of these compounds, they actually are fatty acid, as you can see with their chemical formula and chemical structures. However, the function is slightly different. In compound 17, the function is known as a membrane stabilizer, or they are also energy source or involved in the biosynthesis process that stores energy. However, in compound 18, it is known as anti-cholesteremic agent. This is known function as to reduce cholesterol. Other than that, they present an energy drain mainly due to their addictive and also to provide colorant as well. So now we look into compound 21 and compound 22. So compound 21 is known as 3-hydroxyl glycine. From the glycine, you're somehow able to guess that they are a form of amino acid. However, glycine, this kind of compound rarely occurs in nature. The common one is known as 4-phenixene, or also known as you replace 4-formyl into the 3-hydroxyl group. So phenylglycine in general, their functional group functions as in antibiotic synthesis and also inhibitor of alkaline phosphatase. Moving on to compound 22 is known as triacetic acid lactone. From name naphthalene, you know that it somehow relates to ketones, and this one is known as polycation. So they perform as a food additive or also involved in compound. You can find them in antibiotics and also a few additive as well. So now we move on to two slightly more interesting compounds that we can find in the drive energy drinks. So compound 24 and compound 25, they are actually a coenzyme. One is known as niacinamide and another one is known as pyridoxine. So niacinamide is known as vitamin B3, while pyridoxine is known as vitamin B6. So first we go on to look at this amide group. So this is the active form of vitamin B3 that involved in a coenzyme in energy production. So you might be wondering why we need coenzyme. So trace back to what Fahima has said, energy drink contain large amount of glucose. So in order to convert glucose into energy that can be readily used by us, we need this coenzyme to convert them. That's why niacinamide is important in an energy drink. However, they also have other kind of functions such as involved in biosynthesis of your neuron transmitters such as dopamine, norepinephrine, or they produce protons in your oxidative phosphorylation. However, interesting fact about niacinamide is that overconsumption of energy drink will lead to the failure of liver and somehow lead to the disease known as hepatitis. Now move on to compound 25. This is important because they're able to convert tryptophan, which is amino acid, to niacin. So this niacin is actually quite related to niacinamide because a niacin will be oxidized to form niacinamide. That's why these two coenzymes somehow relate to one another. So vitamin B6 is also involved in immune function, protein, and red blood cell metabolism as well. So now we move on to compound 22 and 27. I would say these two compounds are slightly special as compared to other compounds because we suspect them to be fragment. In compound 26, we suspect them to be methylene succinate, because due to their compound formula C5H4O4, and there's two oxygen that actually is providing the negative charge. So we suspect them to be from succinic acid. So succinic acid is an acidity regulator, and they also function as a flavoring agent in energy drinks or Sprite, most of the beverage. So compound 27, we suspect them to be a fragment also based on their compound formula. We suspect them to be from monocarboxylic acid, that might be a fragment from citric acid or succinic acid, which have a similar function as what we stated here earlier. So now we look into compound 28. Compound 28 is known as dihydroascorbic acid, DHA. So from ascorbic acid, you're somehow able to guess that it somehow relate with vitamin C. And yes, it relates to vitamin C. It's an active form of ascorbic acid, and ascorbic acid is vitamin C. So vitamin C is a cofactor for enzymes for biosynthesis of collagen, carnitine, and norepinephrine. Not to forget, vitamin C is important in our to perform as an antioxidant, where they're able to reduce RS, known as our reactive oxygen species in our body. So now move on to compound 29 and compound 30. So in the Excel file, it just show that these two are citric acid, but we found out that in the table, it somehow shows to have a sodium atom. So we're able to infer that it's actually a citric salt instead of citric acid, and particularly known as monosodium citrate. So we go back to look at the function of citric acid. Citric acid, their function is known as a food preservative enhancement, flavoring, particularly in sour taste such as our orange flavor, and also they also provide antioxidant function as well. On the other hand, citric acid salt form is important in delivering mineral in biological available form. So that's all from me. Without delay, I will pass the time to Shah to explain the rest of the compound found in Drive Energy Drink.
So thanks to Fahima and Wan Yi, I'm gonna continue with compound number 32. named Ecaridine. The formula and structure are shown. And for the function, I can say that Ecaridine, also known as picaridine, is a colorless and odorless liquid which is soluble in water. And it is used to repel insects, including arbovirus and malaria vectors. Ecaridine is a cyclic amine and piperidine compound that is expected to stimulate the sensory hairs on the antenna of insects. Next compound is compound number 33, named N-andesonyl glycine, also known as acylglycine. These are glycine conjugates of acyl-CoA species. Acylglycines are normal intermediates of amino acids and fatty acid metabolism. However, in abnormal concentrations, acylglycines are biochemical markers of selected inborn errors of metabolism, and they are essentially to establish a diagnosis method. So here we have compound number 34, named Emotin A. The formula and structure are shown. Prenolipids is classified into isoprenoids, and isoprenoids are subclassified into emotin. Isoprenoids in living organisms range in function from pigments and fragrances to vitamins and precursors of sex hormones. Other commercially valuable isoprenoids are those used as flavoring and solvents and raw materials for chemicals. Compound number 35, named N-sterol valine. The formula and the structure is shown. And as for the roles of classification, it can be classified into chemical and biological roles. For chemical roles, a molecular entity capable of donation hydrogen to an acceptor via oxo acid, and for biological role in human metabolites, any mammalian metabolite produced during metabolite reaction. So move on to the next compound, which is purine. Actually, based on the information given, there are 9 purine found in the drink with the same mass and mass to charge value. The only difference is the retention time, which is only depends on the interaction of the analyte with the stationary phase. Alright, purines act as metabolic signals, provide energy, control cell growth, and they are part of essential coenzymes, contribute to sugar transport, and donate phosphate group in phosphorylation reactions. Purine exists as a solid soluble in water and very weakly acid compound. Purine has been found throughout the most human tissues and has also been primarily detected in saliva. So that's all for our presentation. Thank you.